Well, Legal Aid's a nonprofit law firm, a phrase you don't often hear, nonprofit and law firm together. So we represent people who can't afford a lawyer in civil cases. Now, most people are familiar with the fact that if you're accused of a crime or charged with a crime and can't afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you. But in civil, anything non-criminal, you have to pay for your own lawyer. Anecdotally, the typical hourly rate of a lawyer is $200. So the poorest of the poor, the most vulnerable, the elderly can't afford a lawyer. So that's where we come in and assist with preventing, for example, wrongful foreclosures, wrongful evictions, wrongful denial of government benefits. Say somebody has sold you a lemon and you can't get to work without your car and can't afford an attorney. That's where we come in and help in those sorts of situations. Our entire justice system is built around the proposition, the assumption that both sides or all sides in a legal controversy or issue will have lawyers, a trained lawyer. And study after study has proven that outcomes are better. In other words, things are fairer and more just when a lawyer is involved. So that's what we do. We come in at the very fundamental level and help folks with all sorts of things they may not even know is illegal, are legal issues. For example, we help secure housing, like I said, preventing wrongful evictions or foreclosing. Housing is a basic human right, a basic human need. Safety, for example, women, it's typically the woman who's a victim of domestic violence, and typically there are children involved. Safety, just being safe where you live, is such a basic human right and necessity. Without housing, without safety, how are you going to go to work? How are you going to support your family? And with no housing, with no safety, how are the children going to go to school, much less perform well? So they're just these basic needs, and if we can come in and help secure those needs, it makes all the difference for the individuals, of course, but for the entire community. I think the Knoxville area community would be different in all sorts of ways if Legal Aid of East Tennessee didn't exist. The most basic illustration I can give is more people would be homeless. More women and children would be living in violent situations at very real and justified fear for their lives. More of our senior citizens would not have powers of attorney that allow someone else to provide for them and obtain government benefits for them when they're not able to do so themselves. More and more of our folks would lose their jobs because their automobiles have been wrongfully repossessed, for example. So at those basic levels, the lives of Knoxville citizens would be very different. The entire community would not be as strong as it is without Legal Aid of East Tennessee. Because as we talked earlier, there's a real economic impact from the services that Legal Aid brings to it's the communities it serves. $1 investment in civil legal aid returns a dollar investment of $11.21 to local communities, and that's money in hand that can be spent in local communities. Another way this community would look different without Legal Aid is I don't think that as many people would be as, I think they would doubt that they live in a fair and just society. Because if the least of us, see, this always makes me tear up every time. If the very most vulnerable citizens in our community can't access the court system just like everybody else can, especially those with money, how is this going to be a community that believes in its courts, in its judges, in its law enforcement? I think that would be a huge change in this community without Legal Aid.